What is going to be the lasting solution? Number one, the lasting solution to the insecurity is the truth. That's the sad reality. When are we going to tell ourselves the truth? When are the stakeholders going to tell themselves the truth? No matter how much summit you have from today till tomorrow, if there's still a lot of complicity along the ranks, you are not ready. Like I always say, culture will eat strategy for breakfast. Where is the truth in all of this? Where is the truth against the perpetrators of all of this? Where is the truth as regards going around who are those funding these people? The other day we had the case of the Dubai authorities arresting some people that are funding terrorism in Nigeria. How did that end? Where is the truth as regards busting the ecosystem of these people? Terrorists are not invincible. They have associates, they have friends, they have family. The day we are ready to tell ourselves the truth, all of this will come to an end.
We must tell ourselves the truth. Who are the government? The government are the politicians, because we are in the democratic regime. So apart from the House of the Rep, the judiciary, the rest are the executive branch of the government. Now, the issue is this. If politicians are caught doing banditry, that is to say that the Nigerian state is a terrorist state, right? Because according to Rufai, until we start telling ourselves the truth, there is no headway out of insecurity in Nigeria. It is going to eat us up. It is going to affect everyone. Now, I want to step down from the northern part of the country to the south, to the east and west, how politicians are sponsoring insecurity. Yesterday, the Sultan of Sokoto made a statement that banditry is not going to end. If at all it's going to end, that it's going to take decades. Yes, that is very true, because the man is trying to say the truth. He saw what is going on. He saw how politicians are sponsoring bandits. But when they are caught in the act, you won't even hear them being persecuted by the court or by the government. That is a sign that their accomplice hasn't. They are working together to make sure they impoverish and punish the people. And now what is going on is that everyone is suffering it. Everyone absolutely is suffering it. So until we begin to tell ourselves the truth, who are the ones sponsoring bandits? And when you come down to the southeast, they are talking about the issue of ipob. See, if they open your eyes to see what is going on in the southeastern part of the country, you will shake your head regarding all this ipob issue they are saying, blah, 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 blah. So, if the southeastern governor, according to Haneze, are making sure they are telling the federal government not to release Nnamdi Kanu, that is to say they have hands in insecurity in the southeast. Yes, they have hands. So, government must tell themselves the truth. The Dubai government released 6 names who are sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. They did not prosecute them. Nnamdi Sherif was caught and arrested for forming Boko Haram. He's still parading himself. He has not been arrested. Kassim Shettima was indicted. He has not been arrested. So we have been saying this right from time. It's not a matter of talk. The truth is that I want people to know that Nigerian government are the main sponsors of terrorism.
All right, Dr. Abati.
Okay, northern leaders, they have been meeting since 1959. When they met in 1959, it was in response to the introduction of universal free education in the Southwest in 1955 by Obafemi Awolowo, chief, leader of the Yorubas in the Southwest. In 1957, the Igbos met also on the question of education. Whereas the Yorubas succeeded with their own initiative in 1955, and the Igbos succeeded with their own initiative in 1957, truncated by the Civil War of 1967 to 1970. Northern leaders and governors have been holding talks since 1959. Where is the result? They have the largest number of out-of-school children. The figures vary. UNICEF says today 13 million children out of school. Tomorrow they will say 15 million children out of school. But the bulk of that figure, they are in the north. They are marginaries. President Jonathan tried to address the problem. It was northern elders and leaders and governors that frustrated it. Okay, now here we are. They are meeting again post-2023, and they say they are discussing security, how to ensure security in the northwestern part of Nigeria, hosted by the Northwest Governors Forum, hosted in collaboration with the UNDP. The event was attended by the military and all the relevant stakeholders. And now what are they telling us? You quoted the speech by the Vice President, yes. Senator Shetima, who represented President Tinubu. And President Tinubu, through him, he said, oh, we have been looking at kinetic and non-kinetic options. We are committed to checking banditry in the Northwest. We're committed to the same national security architecture that have been put in place by the Buhari administration, and all of that and all of that. The speech also talked about the Pulaku initiative, Pulaku, which is a resettlement program for people, you know, in the Northwest who are ravaged, affected by the effects of banditry. The Sultan of Sokoto was also at that event, and he also spoke about the commitment of the traditional rulers, because there was a lot of talk by the UNDP, by the Vice President, about how local solutions are important. The military also made a point about local solutions. So a community approach in terms of the non-kinetic approach. Look, the thing is, when we hold these talks, whether it's the governors bringing everybody together, even Rada, who is the chairman of the Governors Forum, talked about the commitment of the governors, but do they have the powers? Do they have the resources? So you have a situation whereby on the question of ensuring security, whether in the Northwest or elsewhere in the country, our leaders, they make all the right statements. But do they have the capacity to walk the talk? I do not think so. It is instructive that the summit, the Peace and Security Summit in the Northwest, in Katsina, I think it was held in Katsina, you know, yesterday, coincided with the meeting of the governors of the Southwest in Abeokuta, Ogun State. And you can imagine, we don't have the full details of what they discussed. They too will be talking about security in the Southwest. So government has its job cut out for it. Constitutionally, under Section 14, which says that 2B, Section 14, sub 2B, which says that the responsibility of the Nigerian government is to ensure the security and welfare of the people. Number 2, President Tinubu, as others before him, is faced with the reality of insecurity in Nigeria. The thing is what to do about it. And what they do about it, we will measure in terms of results. At the moment, despite the Pulaku initiative, a lot of people are displaced, not just in the Northwest, also in the Northeast. The threat continues. But it is good that President Tinubu understands the problem. He himself articulated it in another context the other day. We know our problem in Nigeria is not knowledge. It's not how to talk. Our problem is how to walk the talk and provide solutions. We hope that the summit in the Northwest and in the Southwest will be a wake-up call afresh for the Tinubu administration.
Well, talking about the Southern Governors Summit, in a few minutes, in a moment, we're going to go to that. Adefemi Akinsoyan was actually there, and she has a full report on that, so we'll give you updates. But very quickly, let me just touch on something I believe is very important. We've often talked about the fact that when we talk about tackling insecurity in Nigeria, it's been said to have a two-pronged approach, kinetic and non-kinetic. And I know Dr. Abati always refers to that and say this kinetic and non-kinetic. But I think it's a very important point, because highlighting the challenges that we have in the Northwest and northern part of Nigeria, we see education as a big problem. And the UNDP head in Nigeria, Etefua, had mentioned the fact that for us to really tackle insecurity, in addition to the kinetic and force in terms of the use of force, we must also address points like the investment in education. We must also look at investment in infrastructure. We must also look at a community-based approach to tackling insecurity, because the truth is, when you apprehend these bandits, when you rehabilitate them, as some state governors have done, if there are no options for them or alternatives for them in terms of having a way to live or to make ends meet, then it will become attractive again for them to go into a life of crime. That's a different conversation. But let's even talk about those young people. Investing in our young people, our resources. I often talk about the fact that the young population in Nigeria ought to be an asset, not a disadvantage. But you would see in the north and in the northwest and where crime thrives that they are often used as weapons, tools to perpetrate this evil. If only the government would address these issues around ensuring that they have access to education. The North has the highest number of out-of-school children in the world, not just in Nigeria. If they would address the issue around poverty, hunger, making it less attractive for them to pursue a life of crime. So yes, I do think it's important to talk about the use of technology, drones, fishing them out, smoking them out from the hideouts. But I also think it's equally as important to address these other issues that are not kinetic, which are ensuring that the people find crime and a life of crime as unattractive as possible. And this is where the community leaders come in as well, because they wield a lot of influence amongst the community members. They know some of these people who are going into this, who are bandits, who are perpetrating these acts. They can actually speak to them. I've worked with community leaders and community groups before, especially using investment in education, making the bales in the areas in the southwest. This project was done. The custodians of what's it called, the education grant, education sponsorship. And they were able to use that to get the people together that, see, we're helping your children have a better life. Do not spoil or vandalize our investment. These are things that we must continue to talk about. It's not just about force alone. We must also find a community-based approach to keep the young people engaged, to ensure we have a better life for the people in terms of tackling poverty and inequality, and to invest in education and infrastructure. Alongside, force, this is something we'll talk about. Talking about the military and how well they've done. It's 1 year since the appointment of the service chiefs, I must mention. Congratulations to them. They have made considerable strides, but it's important for us to continue to measure just how much we can, has been done in pushing back and tackling insecurity in Nigeria. So great summit there. I think it's definitely a right step in the right direction. But like has been mentioned, beyond speaking, it is the action points that take place.